And that initial hate she must have felt.
It gets complicated. It starts to mix with other feelings, maybe fast.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into A Duel with the Vampire Lord by Elise Kova.
Yeah, this one starts in a place called Hunter's Hamlet. It's,
Yeah.
A human village.
And they rely on this one woman, Floriane. She's a forge maiden, making silver blades to keep the vampires away. Classic setup, almost.
Almost. Because it gets turned on its head, like, right away.
How so?
Well, there's this blood moon night, the big bad, the Vampire Lord Ruvan. He shows up.
Okay, ready for the fight?
But instead of Floriane taking him down, he wounds her twin brother. And then he captures her
Captures the blade maker.
to protect her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Suddenly, she's the one imprisoned in the vampire's castle, the very enemy she's supposed to fight.
Whoa. Okay, so she's behind enemy lines, but it's not just about escape, is it? There's something else thrown in immediately, this blood-sworn oath.
Ah, yes. That's crucial. It's this magical bond. It links Floriane and Ruvan, like mind and body.
Mind and body. So instant intimacy, forced connection with the enemy number one.
Right.
What does that do to this situation? Well, it completely dismantles that simple enemy dynamic, doesn't it? She's suddenly forced to see things from his perspective almost.
So she starts seeing the vampires differently.
Yeah, she realizes they're not just mindless monsters. They're like this proud people, but they're suffering. There's this ancient curse affecting them.
And this bond, this oath, it forces her to see that vulnerability.
Right. It makes it impossible to just hate them blindly. And Ruvan, he has his own reasons.
What's his angle? Why capture her specifically?
He actually believes that Floriane, because of who she is, maybe her connection to forging or something deeper, holds the key to breaking their curse.
The irony. The weapon maker might be their salvation. That creates this huge tension, I imagine.
Absolutely. They have to work together, essentially. Their fates are completely tangled up.
So how does that, forced teamwork play out? Does she start to switch sides?
It's more complex than switching sides. It tests her loyalties, definitely. The lines get really blurry. What she thought was true, who the real enemy is, it all starts to shift.
And that initial hate she must have felt.
It gets complicated. It starts to mix with other feelings, maybe fascination, maybe something else. That connection with Ruvan becomes undeniable.
Okay, and there's another layer too, right? Floriane has some kind of magic.
Yes, she can see glimpses of the past, like visions.
Ooh, okay. How does that fit in? Does it confirm the vampires or evil stories she grew up with?
Not really, no. It actually does the opposite. Her visions start showing her a different history, a much more complicated one.
So the history between humans and vampires isn't so black and white.
Exactly. She's uncovering the truth piece by piece, and it challenges everything she believed about the conflict, about her people, about his people.
It sounds a bit like those classic fairy tales, Beauty and the Beast maybe, but with a darker twist.
Definitely echoes of that. The cursed lord, the captive who sees beyond the surface. But it's rooted in this deeper historical context she's uncovering.
And all this must be tearing her apart inside. Loyalty to home, Hunter's Hamlet, versus these new truths and, well, Ruvan.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge internal conflict. Protecting her home, her brother. But then there's this growing understanding, maybe even feelings, for the supposed enemy.
So it's really digging into some big themes then.
For sure. Things like, can you trust someone you were raised to hate? What sacrifices do you make to maybe break a cycle of violence? Can empathy actually overcome generations of hatred?
And it all happens in this, you said, richly built fantasy world.
Yeah, the world building supports all these themes really well.
And does it wrap up nicely for readers who like closure.
It does. It leads to a satisfying conclusion, happily ever after, even after all that struggle.
Okay, so the big takeaway here seems to be about challenging your deepest fears, your ingrained beliefs, when reality kind of forces you to.
Exactly. What happens when the monster turns out to be, well, not a monster, or at least much more than that? It forces a choice, doesn't it, between old loyalties and a new, complicated truth.
It really makes you think then. What does it actually take to understand someone you see as an enemy? And maybe, can you ever truly get past those built-in assumptions when you're faced with, well, undeniable truths and connections you didn't expect?
That's the question to ponder, I think. Can those connections overcome everything else?
Something to definitely chew on. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Grab A Duel with the Vampire Lord by Elise Kova, now on sale for $28.95. Don't miss this chance to build good habit and achieve remarkable results. Buy now, today.
Like and subscribe for more Bookhaven podcasts.